What's good? This is Trey. Welcome to this presentation. Today I want to talk about how you can overcome the fear of hearing the word no. Most people have a big fear, a huge fear of rejection, right? Or in other words, of hearing no. Why is that? Because somehow we've developed this idea that if we hear the word no, that means we're not good enough, or that means we're not smart enough, we're not good looking enough, we're not worthy. And it's a learned fear. If you look at kids, right? Kids can hear the word no a million times and still ask the same question again and again and again. Why is that? Well, I believe, kids, they're not stuck in their heads. They're not stuck in these identities and these labels. They don't think they're better than the word no. They don't limit their experience of life based on hearing a word. You see, I think the big difference I see, because I think we can learn a lot from kids. The big difference I see with kids when it comes to dealing with the word no versus adults is that a kid is just free in his expression. He's expressing himself how he feels. He's expressing himself from his heart. Kids are more heart-centered in the sense that they're not so up here, oh, but what if the person says no, then that means I'm wrong, or that means I'm not smart, or that means I'm not cool, or that means I'm not good looking, right? Those are concepts, that human created concepts, that if you really think about it, they're all designed to keep us closed-minded. They're all designed to keep us controlled, to keep us in our box. And the child doesn't have those concepts, but obviously over time he starts to develop those concepts of, if you hear the word no, that means you're not cool. That means you're not that good. You're not good enough. That means you're not handsome. That means you're not pretty. That means you're not smart enough. That means you're not this. All these concepts are thrown on the child as he grows up, and that's what's happened to all of us. And then as we get older, we become more afraid of hearing no. We become more afraid of rejection because we think that means we're not good enough. We think that's a reason for us to stop moving forward. Whereas the child doesn't have that concept. The child just hears no and says, okay, that means I need to ask again later. Or that means I need to ask again in a different way. Or that means I need to ask somebody else. Even animals, you can learn from a dog. A dog's not afraid of no. Obviously you can train a dog to be afraid of no, but his natural essence has no fear of no. And I believe we can tap into that beingness as well. As I said, it's a concept that's in the head. We need to stop living in our heads, and we need to come down into our hearts and start living from our hearts, start expressing ourselves from our hearts. When you feel like doing something, you do it. And if you want something, you go and get it. And if you hear no, it doesn't mean to stop. It means try again. It means try in a different way. It means maybe be a little more creative, or maybe knock on more doors. But when you get in your head, that's when you start thinking, I'm the ego, and but I shouldn't have to hear the word no. If it's not yes, then maybe I should. Maybe it does. Maybe I don't deserve it. That's the mind talking to you. That's the belief systems in the mind. You see, if we had a mind that was programmed a certain way, where there was no concept of, oh, not being good enough, or you were rejected, or you don't deserve something, or whatever. If those concepts didn't exist, then there would be no fear of the word no. So we can see that these are things that have been, wired into our minds. And if you live in your head, then you will act in accordance with those beliefs in your mind. But if you realize that's what's going on, and you're actually been programmed to fear the word no, that wasn't your choice. That was a program that has been, wired into your head as you went through your childhood and as you've grown up and become an adult. But as an adult, being afraid of the word no is not going to serve you, because in order to get what you want, you're going to have to get through the no's, right? If I want to get a date tonight, for example, let's say I have no girls' numbers in my phone, I don't have anything going on, and I want to get a date. I'm going to have to go out and talk to some women. And I'm not going to connect with every single woman, which means I'm going to have to hear no. Now, if I have a fear of the word no, what's going to happen? I'm not going to go out. Or if I do go out, I will go out and talk to maybe one woman, hear the word no, and I will shut down. But what is that really? That's a program in the mind that's shutting me down. I'm not choosing to shut down. I'm not choosing to fear the word no. That's just happening without my choice. So what we need to do is we need to come in and make a choice and say, you know what? I am choosing not to fear the word no. And I'm not going to go in my head, in my mind, and associate with those limiting beliefs and those social constructs and those ideas that are not serving me. I'm going to go into my heart and do what I want to do, what I feel like I should do. If I want to go on a date, I should be able to go out there and express myself from my heart. And I shouldn't be afraid of the emotions that come up. You see, that's another thing. We are afraid of these feelings. We are afraid of the feeling of fear. We're not supposed to be afraid of feelings. We're not supposed to be afraid of our experience of life. We're supposed to be able to enjoy life in its entirety, everything that comes with it. But we're running away from certain things. We feel something that doesn't feel right, and so we run away from it. But we have to check first, why doesn't it feel right? What is going on there? Right? Sometimes we have an intuition and we can go off the intuition, but be careful, because if you have the wrong understanding of where that feeling is coming from, you may think it's intuition, but it's just your mind. Right? If the intuition is not serving you, that's what we need to check. Is me trusting my intuition serving me? Because if it's not, maybe it's not my intuition. Maybe it's my mind. It's so, the program is so hardwired, and the limiting belief is so hardwired that it's tricking me into thinking it's my intuition. And so when that negative feeling comes up, I think, oh, I shouldn't do that. And that's my intuition telling me that. But no, it's a limiting belief. It's a fear. So we have to be able to know the difference. The way I was able to know the difference is, first I started off with, okay, to me, the fear of no is an unhealthy fear. It's an unhealthy fear, because if I live with the fear of no, my experience of life becomes very limited. Very limited. The potentials and possibilities become very small. Not going to live an extraordinary life. You're not going to achieve extraordinary feats if you're afraid of the word no. So you just got to understand that. So once I understood that, then I realized, okay, there is a program in my mind that is basically, it's a belief, right? In my mind that's telling me that you should not hear the word no. Or if you hear the word no, that means you're not good enough, or it means you should turn around, you shouldn't go forward, right? It's a signal to stop doing what you're doing, which obviously we know that's not true, because if you hear the word no and you just stop, that means you're done. You're not going to move forward, which means you're not going to hit the goal. So it's not a good belief to have that, oh, if I hear the word no, I should stop what I'm doing, or I'm doing something wrong, or I'm not good enough, or whatever. So what I did was I went out with the intention of wanting to hear the word no and wanting to basically be okay with it, be accepting of it, even make the word no my friend, become friends with the word no, or even fall in love with the word no. Because I learned to have the experience of hearing the word no and not try to wall up or avoid it. I learned to go into the experience from a heart-centered place and just embrace whatever feeling comes up. Let's say it's, it's fear, it's anxiety, it's maybe a feeling of frustration, maybe feeling of anger or sadness. Whatever feeling shows up, I just allow it to go through my body and just experience it. And I let it pass, and then I basically get to the understanding of, okay, that wasn't really as bad as I thought. A lot of the fear, a lot of the threats is just mind-made. It's not even real. When you hear the word no, all it is a word. Like, can we just get to that? Can we just simplify this whole thing and realize that the word no is just a word? Why does the word no have so much control over people? It's just a word. We've created a meaning to that word. And we've hardwired it into our mind, into our subconscious mind, and we're just on autopilot mode, living a life in fear of the word no, simply because of a belief has been wired into our minds that we didn't even choose. It was given to us by whoever set up the social construct. Rejection is something to be avoided. Rejection means that you're doing something wrong, or that you're bad, or that you're not good enough, right? We're being controlled by the word no, if you think about it. Because if you're afraid to do something, because you think it means that you're not going to be good enough or whatever, well, guess what? You're not going to do it. So you're being controlled by that thing because you want to do something, but you're not doing it because of the fear of what if they say no. So the word no has become your God. The word no has become a dictator in your life who's dictating your actions. The word no has become your king. You are the word no slave. Are you okay with that? I'm not okay with being anyone's slave, especially not a slave to a word. I'm not okay with that. So we have to look at this for what it is and ask ourselves, how foolish is it to live a life in fear of a word? And what can we do to overcome it? I went out and I wanted to hear the word no as much times as I can. I would literally go out and talk to people and seek out the word no. I would go and, go up to women and ask them on dates without giving any context or anything. Or I'd go and ask, even men on date. I did that too. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. Because I wanted to experience the word no. I would go up to men and ask men on dates because I know they're probably gonna say no, right? And what's funny, some of them said yes, which is an interesting thing. When you actually start going for no, it actually gets hard to get the no. A very interesting thing. I would love for you to try it out. I remember one of the times where I had a shift when I was in a club. I was doing what they call night game, where you go out at the night and you go and game women or whatever, right? I was doing night game, and I had the intention of, I want to pick up a girl. I want to get a girl for the night. And I was approaching girls and getting rejected left and right. And then I had a shift where I was like, you know what, man? I don't give a fuck anymore. I don't care if a girl rejects me. I'm just going to self-amuse myself. I'm just going to have fun. I don't care if I pick up a girl tonight. Who gives a shit? So I was literally, a shift happened. I was literally seeking out no. I was seeking out the word no. I wanted to get rejected because I just didn't give a fuck anymore. And I promise you, the first girl that I approached with this new attitude of I want to hear the word no because I just don't care, that woman was all over me. All over me. Okay, I approached this woman and I don't remember exactly what I said, but we hit it off. Communication was great, great conversation, right? At some point we ended up hugging each other, right? And I mean, just to be honest with y'all, you know, it's not like you know who the woman is, so I can just share this information. I almost ended up taking that girl home. It just so happened at the last second, right? I was about to take her to my car because she wanted to go home. Like, she wanted to go home with me. She, you know, she was like, hey, what are you doing? I was like, I'm actually about to leave. And she's like, okay, let's go. But at the last second, her friends hit her up and were like, hey, you know, we're leaving, da-da-da. And she was like, oh, my friend's called. I got to go. Okay. So she became more logical. But you can see in that situation, because I wasn't afraid of the word no, it led directly to me. And now I'm not saying I got the result. There's other times where I get the result, right? But the result would have been for me to hook up with that girl, right? If I'm just being honest with y'all, right? That would have been the result. But it only started coming to me when I no longer feared the word no. It's a very interesting thing. Now, I had that shift in attitude towards the end of the night, so that was kind of like the, you know, the end of the night or whatever. But I remember, even though her friends called her back and brought her back to and took her home, and I didn't get to hook up with her or whatever, right? It's all good, because I was actually just happy at the fact that I made that transition in attitude. You know, I had that aha moment where I was like, maybe I'm too focused on, you know, trying to get the result, trying to get the yes. And so I'm trying to avoid the no. So I'm not really expressing myself fully. There we go. That's where it's at. That's what you needed to hear. The problem with fearing the word no is that you're unable to express yourself fully. Think about it. If you're afraid of the word no, are you going to give your all? Are you going to put yourself out there 110%, which is what's necessary for you to really get what you want? Because, you know, if you're trying to get something, for example, if you're trying to convince someone of something or persuade someone, if you communicate with full confidence, full belief, full conviction, full certainty, you have a very high chance of convincing or persuading someone, versus if you're afraid of no, so you're not really giving it your all. You're kind of like hesitant, kind of unsure. There's a difference. So if I had to simplify this, how do you overcome the fear of hearing the word no? If I had to simplify this, first of all, understand that fear was forced upon you. You did not choose that fear. You would never choose to fear the word no if you knew that it would not serve you. That doesn't make sense. You've been given an idea that if you hear the word no, then something is wrong. You're not good enough. You're not pretty enough. You're not handsome enough. You're not smart enough, right? You're not good enough, or you're not deserving, or you're doing something wrong. They've put a negative connotation on the word no. Okay, if you hear the word no, it's something to avoid, but it's not true. No is a part of life. You're not gonna get every single, you're not gonna get a yes every single time. You're not gonna close every single sale. You're not gonna get every single girl. That's just not how it goes. Okay, you're not going to win every single race, right? The best athletes, the best, performers, whatever, they've all experienced failure. They've all experienced no. They've all experienced rejection. Go and ask them. Go and read their books. Go and watch their documentaries. They will tell you all the no, all the trial and all the tribulation and adversity they had to get through to get what they want. But what if they would have feared the word no? And not to say that we don't fear the word no, but we don't let it hold us back. We learn to overcome it. And I believe you can get to a point where you no longer fear it if you can just get out of your head. The fear is in your head. It's a mind-made concept that you should run, that fear is a bad thing, or sorry, that no is a bad thing. It's a mind-made concept. If you express yourself and communicate from the heart, there is no fear in the heart, man. The heart just knows, all the heart knows is expression. If you truly tap into the heart, all it knows is expression. All it knows is love. It doesn't know fear. Fear is in the mind. It's when you start thinking too much, right? You start getting in your head. You start focusing on the future or the past instead of being present to the moment. There is no fear when you're present to the moment. It's just life. Fear is a word that we've created. What if we would have never even created that as a concept? Then we wouldn't even have it as an idea. It would just be a feeling in the body, and we'd just be like, oh, I feel something right now. But somehow we've created this idea that because we fear something, we should avoid it. So understand that fear is not a real thing. It's a created thing. It's a created concept. Yes, we can experience and feel something, but it doesn't mean the explanation for it or the meaning for it has been given to us. Oh, because you feel something that's making you anxious, that means you should run. Nah, not really. It could mean that you have an opportunity for growth. What if you reframed it? It's an opportunity for growth. It's an opportunity to maybe ascend your current condition, ascend in consciousness, ascend in mindsets. Maybe an opportunity to rewire your subconscious mind. There's different ways to look at it. Not, oh, I should run away, or not, I'm not good enough, or not. So start with that. Understand that the fear is in your head. It's not, it's not something that you have to identify, because you're not your mind. So you don't have to identify with that. And the next part to it is go and hear the word no, and learn to create your own meaning for it. Don't take the meaning that society and the world has given you. Oh, fear, no is something to avoid. It means you did something wrong. No, not true. You can decide how you interpret no. You can decide the meaning for it, and you can decide to be the type of man or woman who can handle the word no, knowing that no could just be a stepping stone to yes, or it could just be something that you experience along the way to get in that yes, or it could even just be part of what makes the yes so great. You get to interpret it how you want to interpret it. Just don't let it be a reason to stop moving forward. Don't let it be a reason to give up. Don't let it be a reason. You choose the reason, the meaning of the word no. Hear that word no, feel it. Get to a point where you, as I said, you make it your friend. You fall in love with the word no, because you've changed the feeling behind it. If you hear the word no over and over and over again, it's not going to have the same hold on you, because you're going to get desensitized to it. And then once that happens, through this process of desensitizing yourself to the word no is when you start reinterpreting it, because now it doesn't have a hold on you with all the emotions surrounding it. So now you can say, okay, well, this is not a big deal. No is just a stepping stone to yes, or no is just, it just means you this isn't the right moments. It means not right now. It could also mean it's not the right person or not the right opportunity, but there's a better person, a better opportunity. Or maybe it means that you could have been more creative, right? More creative in the way that you approach the situation. You can come up with whatever meaning. Just, as I said, don't make it a reason to stop. You see? So I hope this video has been helpful, because I believe the word no is limiting our potential and our experience of life, and we need to be okay with the word no. So much more power, so much more potential, so much more can be achieved when you have a healthy relationship with the word no. and it does not have control over you, it has not become a god or a dictator in your life where you're literally being controlled by a word. All right? If you're having a hard time overcoming the fear of hearing the word no, if you're having a hard time overcoming rejection, if you've been trying to deal with this on your own, you're not able to do it, reach out to me. Okay, I believe through us communicating, we will figure out, I understand every person's situation is different. We will figure out what needs to be done for you to overcome the fear of no. You know, for me, the fear of no was holding me back in my dating life. I was afraid of rejection, afraid of hearing no from a woman because I had women on a pedestal and I was seeking validation from women, but I learned to reframe rejection, reframe the word no, and I learned to stop putting people on a pedestal, and I worked on the way I see things. I worked on my mindset. I worked on my perception of things. I worked on the frame, the lens that I'm seeing the world through. It made a huge difference for me. So I'd like to share with you how I was able to do this in a more personal way. So if you'd like personal help, just reach out to me and we'll go from there. See you in the next videos. Peace.